What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy, the hater. And it's time, effectively, for part 2. John Cena's a cuck, part 2, Electric Boogaloo. You understand me? Now, part 1 was yesterday, where we analyzed what is going to go down as one of the dumbest things to ever happen in the industry of wrestling. Now, a lot of people seem to agree with me this time, because as usual, people come around. The hater is very rarely wrong, and when he is, he says it like it is. Everyone was clamoring about how John Cena's heel turn is something we needed. Then we had all the conspiracy theorists telling us why he turned heel. Well, it turns out that everyone was wrong, and he turned heel simply because he was frustrated with the fans. In other words, he turned heel for the same reason that Kevin Owens turns heel every couple of months. You understand what I'm saying? We expect a bit more from this cuckold John Cena. As far as I'm concerned, Cena was already on the fence. You understand me? First of all, that China apology, the hater understands. You're not going to derail an entire movie and the careers of dozens, if not hundreds of people just to stand firm against China. At the end of the day, who the hell cares? China is a big market, and you're going to bend to them because they got a lot of money to give you, right? This is understandable in the world of entertainment. That's fine. You got a lot of flack for it, but that's fine. Then the further humiliation happened at the Emmys or the Oscars last year or whatever, right? Where this idiot comes out basically naked. Now, some of the haters' friends said, oh, that was funny, but ain't nothing funny about that. The whole point is, look at you, you dipshit. You're just here because you have big muscles. We're never going to respect you the way that we would respect like a cuckold like Bradley Cooper or Will Smith, especially after the slap, because the Will Smith was like one of the haters' like personal heroes until that point, that motherfuck. But anyways, now we find ourselves with the last humiliation that is required in order to save WrestleMania and in order to basically attempt to put over a dwindling star named Cucky Rhodes, whose only cheers come as a result of everybody else having to work their hardest to put them over, usually to their detriment. Now, Cody Rhodes is not a star, so it is inappropriate and improper to suggest that Cody Rhodes buries people, right? Cody Rhodes doesn't have the capacity to bury people. It would be like saying Jacob Fatu is going to bury somebody, right? These are not stars. These are transient nobodies. But the reality is, whether you like it or not, te gusta o no, the fact of the matter is that Cody Rhodes and the fact that he beat Roman Reigns has pretty much led to the complete cuckolding of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is no longer relevant. Roman Reigns is no longer interesting. Roman Reigns is no longer anything. He's just another mid-carder. And at this point, he comes up as frequently as The Undertaker in the last 10 years of Undertaker's career. So I'm completely done with Roman Reigns. I wouldn't even cheer if I saw him live on TV if I was at a Raw or a pay-per-view. I wouldn't give a rat's ass. You know what I mean? There's no way, and the hater means no way, that Roman Reigns should appear less frequently than someone like Randy Orton, who is 100 times better than Reigns in every conceivable category, except for the fact that Roman Reigns came up in a time when the likes of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins were there, meaning that he had no competition. But the reality is this. Cucky Rhodes, you can't say he buried Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns was never the same after he dropped the title to Cucky Rhodes. Primarily because they made it into this big spectacle and they used it as a crowning moment to pretend to us that Cody Rhodes is this big future star at 39 years old, currently probably almost 40, right? Cucky Rhodes is only 7 years younger than Cena. Cena at 40 was basically on his way out. Cody at 40, nearly 40, is just starting his big push, basically. I mean, it started last year, but you understand what I'm saying. Now, that's one thing, right? But the reality is that Cucky Rhodes is not interesting. So what does the WWE need to do? Well, you can only keep a boring-ass character over for so long unless you start throwing things in his way, a la Cena, to be honest, right? And having him overcome insurmountable odds. However, for Cucky Rhodes, that's just not going to be enough. He's overcame the insurmountable odds one time against Roman Reigns, and quite frankly, He didn't do it on his own. He had The Undertaker player and various other people help him. So, including John Cena, might I add. Now, with all that being said, Cena felt underappreciated. So Cena now has to turn heel like a cuck. And the problem with this, clearly, is that if Cena turns heel, it's only being done to bolster Cody Rhodes and his status in the WWE. In other words, Cena is being thrown to the wolves on his way out so that the young guy can seem like a bigger deal. This would be the equivalent of if you had, let's say, LeBron in a few years, and right now, in a few years, LeBron's averaging like, I don't know, a respectable 15 points a game, considering that he'd be in his 40s, right? And now you're like, get rid of this motherfucker so we can make way for some jabron that isn't like anywhere near his level, right? Because this jabron is young. But now imagine if that jabron was like Carmelo Anthony or someone who's like the same age, basically, as LeBron, right? That's what would happen. You're throwing someone under the bus that has been the face of the company for probably the longest time that anyone's been the face of the WWE, right? John Cena does hold that distinction. Stone Cold, The Rock, Hogan, all these guys were never the face of the company for long, right? Hogan left for WCW, and he came back, he wasn't the face. Stone Cold and The Rock had very, very brief runs, considering everything. And everybody else that you know and love, Kane, Taker, HBK, Angle, Jericho, these guys were never the face. Edge, all these guys were never the face of the company, right? John Cena was the face of the company. Even Randy Orton wasn't the face of the company. John Cena was. So to completely humiliate him by turning him heel, in my opinion, is unforgivable. Now, with that being said, we all know now that this heel turn was not well thought out, right? That was the one, possible glimmer of hope that we had. That somehow, for one time in their shit run, WWE under Triple H would know what they're doing. But they proved us right, or they proved me right, and they proved the majority of people wrong, the people that were excited for the heel turn. Now that we know what the heel turn is, dumb fucks, wouldn't it be better if they did it like the hater said, if they did this at WrestleMania? Then John Cena doesn't have to explain himself ever, for all I care. He can retire the next day and be like, I'm the champion, I don't give a damn, and he can just bounce. But think about the position that we are left in. Now, John Cena all of a sudden turned into fucking Kevin Owens, someone that we don't like. Then Cucky Rhodes comes out, right? And he's going to have the same feud as he did with Kevin Owens. You betrayed me. But guess what, Cucks? That's not even the feud. The feud is, Cena, I'm not even worried about you. You're such a fucking has-been. You're such a whiny bitch, he called him. A cuckold that basically I have nothing to worry about. I need now, as the face, I need to challenge the real John Cena. I mean, there is a small possibility where Cena just puts in some great character work the next few weeks, and basically he just comes out, and it's like, I don't know, Cena versus Otis or something like that, right? And the match is a 1-minute squash match. Cena just clotheslines him. Cena just picks him up, does the AA, picks him up again, does the AA like 2 more times, then puts the STF and like doesn't let go. Then, while he's going crazy, maybe by shaving his head or something. I don't know. Now you have to like start thinking about these things because the current iteration of what's going on is garbage. Now, some of you may think, well, hater, maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe this is like the beginning of a long list of John Cena promos and interactions with other wrestlers that is going to lead to a wonderful Cena heel run. However, here's the stark reality. We're effectively we're almost at the end of March, realistically, right? Because Raw just happened. I don't see Cena going to SmackDown personally, but SmackDown, you can expect that neither of those fucks is going to be there. And then what's going to happen is this. Then it's going to be next Raw. That's going to be like midweek, mid 10-day period, like what, March 26th or something like that. Then after that, we have basically less than a month until WrestleMania. So we've got 4 weeks to figure this out. But as it stands now, John Cena is a massive cuckold. You understand me? He is a massive twat for everything that he's doing in kayfabe, and honestly, in reality, he really did sell out. But he didn't sell out in the context of kayfabe. He sold out, or at least was convinced, that this was a good idea, but this was not a good idea, as we can see by that shit promo, which is basically the Kevin Owens promo. It's basically the Carlito promo. As one of you said, one of the smart fans of the hater said, John Cena went out and cut a you people promo, right? That's the best way to put it. It's a you people promo. Basically, like, no accountability, no internal motivations, just Cena couldn't handle the pressure anymore. Now, some people are defending this garbage, and they're saying it makes sense because, Cena was a good guy for 25 years. Well, then, that just paints him as a giant cuck pussy because people like Kevin Owens, they cannot even handle a little bit of fan pressure, right? They just buckle, and they turn heel, and they let it out. Then they become face, and they apologize again. But that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is what the fact of the matter is. Cucks this. The reality is that John Cena finds himself now, in my opinion, at the lowest point of his career. And because he's going to almost inevitably lose to Cucky Rhodes, this will be the lowest point of his career. Now, even if he were to win, this would still be the lowest point of his career. Because he's losing at WrestleMania to a fucking jobber that he would squash at the tail end of his career. Like, you could start counting the end of Cena's career basically when he started doing the U.S. Invitational Tournament, where he became U.S. champion, where he was no longer a main eventer until they had to bring him back, right? He was a mid-card champion, and he would squash people, or in this case, have competitive matches with jobbers like Sami Zayn and Stardust, right? Cena beat him, picked him up, AA, 1, 2, 3, no problemo. Now, Cody Rhodes has gotten older. Cena has gotten older. Neither one has gotten better. Both have gotten worse, in my opinion. Stardust was more interesting than Cucky Rhodes, who's just another John Cena. And the reality is that now Cena has to debase himself because the booking in WWE is so bad that we are left with no other choice other than to run the ultimate audible. At this rate, motherfucks, you can expect The Undertaker and Stone Cold in a dildo match next WrestleMania. The more debasing things that they do, the worse it's going to get. John Cena turning heel is a terrible idea, and it was at all times. Now, if this was like, in the making, like if there was like a year of Cena's heel turn, and then he wins the chamber match by selling his soul to The Rock, even though The Rock didn't help him win or anything like that, right? The Rock's not even a factor anymore. The Rock may as well never come back again. Like, he doesn't add anything ananymore. Like, the story now is just John Cena's story. Cody Rhodes is the foil, and he's going to win. And the takeaway is not going to be the takeaway is not going to be Cody Rhodes overcame the odds. The takeaway is going to be John Cena sold out, and as a result, he didn't win the title. So it's going to be like a negative wrestling to a WrestleMania, a negative ending to a WrestleMania, I should say. Now, we should also talk a few minutes about the fact that John Cena has completely and utterly embarrassed himself, right? This video is called Cena's a Cuck, but the reality is the promo itself just wasn't good. You would expect someone with the longevity of Cena, the microphone skills of Cena, the charisma of Cena, and the intelligence of Cena to come up with a better promo than this. Now, is it possible that this promo was written by one of the myriad morons that writes the results at WWE.com who don't even know proper grammar? Yes, it is possible. But you would expect some input. If the answer is, the people turned on me, that is not compelling. Look at The Rock, for example, right? The Rock got critically acclaimed for his final boss character. And in my opinion, one of the primary reasons why that is because the final boss character is not a you people did this to me character. It's basically like, yo, I'm the big shot around here, right? It's a character that's based on confidence, right? It's a character that's based on arrogance. The Rock comes in there and he says, Cody Rhodes, get out of the way so I can have my family feud match. And you're going to go wrestle Seth Rollins in the undercard where you belong, Cuck. Then Cody Rhodes and the dumbass fans, the Cody Crybabies, now have ruined 2 WrestleManias in a row. But anyways, it's 3 arguably. But that's not here nor there. The point is, the character of The Rock was arrogant, he was entitled, and basically his argument is, I'm the final boss, I don't give a fuck, basically, if Otis beats like Montez Ford. None of them are beating me. I'm the final boss. John Cena's character is, the people turned their back on me for 25 years. They mistreated me. So now I'm going to turn heel and not give them what they want. Well, if you're going to give them the same shit you gave them, then like, what's the difference? He's just angry, So this cuckolding is multifaceted. He's a cuckold for allowing himself to be bullied in real life, to turn heel. And pretty much, this is not going to help his career in any capacity, right? Two, the storyline is cuckolded completely by the fact that The Rock is promising Cena something that Cena already has. Michael Cole said on Raw, he's like, Cena's a multimillionaire, you know? Like, he doesn't need The Rock. Number two. Number 2B, John Cena's entire image is now ruined. So, like, just from a logical perspective, kayfabe or outside of kayfabe, why would John Cena, the character or the man, decide to make enemies? Decide to break hearts? Why? For their neckbeards? Because he never gave them what they wanted 15 years ago, 10 years ago? That's retarded. And then thirdly, the ultimate cuckolding comes as a direct result of the decisions that were made, number one, with turning him heel, but also with the promo last night. In other words, we are now laughing and watching while we laugh because we know that we are not going to be entertained from a storyline perspective with the John Cena and Cody Rhodes. At this point, The Rock said, you'd be surprised. You know, you might get something you don't expect. I don't care. I have gone through all the permutations in my head, including The Undertaker and Stone Cold in a dildo match. And none of them are compelling. What could possibly happen? Let's say The Rock betrays Cena. Ooh! Let's say The Rock costs Cody the title. Ooh! The storyline is what matters. The match and the payoff is secondary to that, cucks. And with that being said, we got nothing more to say about this garbage, you know? Let's move on with our lives and continue making videos on a daily basis for Hater Mania. And then I guess the next review I'm going to do is probably SmackDown, because why the hell am I going to watch the goddamn, Raw when I saw what I need to see? Cuckolds. And with that, Hater has spoken.